Garrett, it's been a while. It's been almost a
Yeah,
month.
it's been a while. Yeah, we've both been busy.
Yeah, very, very busy. Very busy. So the we have some stuff that we need to talk about. First of all, the safe cracking video that I just posted.
Yes.
Okay, what are your thoughts about it? You were essentially the breaker of the safe.
Yes.
How did it feel?
It was a great time.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to go that quickly.
Yeah, me neither. I was expecting it to go like at least one round through everyone.
Yeah.
And it was basically you, and we made it look like it needed a little bit more help from Elias, but it was clear that you had finished it off.
To be fair, I didn't really see that the door had actually cracked.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to town, so
Yeah,
I actually didn't realize that the door had opened.
Yeah, so if you knew that the door had opened, you would have tried to open it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of fun. We didn't actually find chocolate milk. We found nothing in there, which was sad. But the fact that there was nothing in there meant that we needed to make it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, the chocolate milk was good.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
And so were the steaks.
That is true.
Because we all got a little bit of it.
Except for the tube steaks. Those were a little burnt.
Yeah, the hot dogs were very burnt.
Yes.
Very burnt. Okay. So to start off, aside from that, I've got a little bit of money trivia for you.
Okay.
Okay. So do you know what they use dollar bills for after they are past their prime?
Ooh. Boy, I wouldn't even know.
Okay.
Do they burn them?
No. They compost them.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, a farm in Delaware mulches more than 4 tons of worn out U.S. bills every day, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I guess I've never really looked into what the procedures are for removing worn dollar bills.
Yeah, I have no idea what that kind of procedure would be. But here's the dad joke of the day. That must be some very rich soil.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is more of just an interesting fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I say fact. I haven't fact checked any of this, but I just found these money trivia pieces online, and I thought that they were interesting. So apparently during the gold rush in San Francisco, you could get a dozen eggs for the equivalent of $90 now.
Wow.
Yeah. Or a pickaxe for the equivalent of $1,500, which is insane. So it just goes to show, it's like, whoa, man, you just have like an influx of currency, and suddenly all these normal everyday items just skyrocket in value.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not to mention the pickaxe was being used as a tool to actually find the gold.
Right.
But yeah.
Might have been a good investment after all said and done.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been. And then last thing, guess how many ways you can break down a dollar bill into change?
Oh, boy. Oh, man.
Take some quick math. There's no way I could have figured this out.
Yeah. 100,000.
Okay, that's a lot more. It's 293.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's just like, there's a difference between the order of, like, you could have a 2 quarters or 3 quarters, 2 dimes, and a nickel, or you could have those all in a different position in a different order. But I think it's just like how the kind of change that you can break it down in. Okay, let's get into our topics. First one that we've got is absolutely mind-blowing, in my opinion. I had no idea, but apparently the average car payment has recently hit $700.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievable.
That's ridiculous. That means a lot of people are paying more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I cannot imagine putting $700 into my car per month. Like, I know that my car is over 10 or about 10 years old at this point, but that is just an insane amount of money to be putting into a vehicle that you don't even own.
Yeah.
Going on, it said that apparently the average transaction price for a new car topped 48 grand, which is, again, insane to me because back in the day, I mean, I've always thought of like a new car, the average price being, I don't know, 30, 32 grand, maybe. 48 is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, this is a time to hold off on purchasing a car if you at all can, and also a time to be looking for deals and used vehicles because new is just so much money right now.
Do you think some of the price is driven by more people driving bigger cars?
Maybe. I think that it could be a lot of different factors. Partly, the fact that there's just been so many chip shortages and material shortages and issues with the whole flow of items through the world. I think that that's probably one of the biggest factors of it. But I mean, the chip shortages is a big thing, and we'll end up talking more about the chip shortages later with one of your articles.
Yeah.
But this individual from Cox Automotive was making a comment about how it's really just a combination of the higher prices and the higher rates. So you've got higher prices of the cars because of the shortages, but you also have the higher interest rates, which we'll get into with this article about how the Fed is probably going to raise rates again in July, another 0.75%.
Surprise.
Yeah, which would be the equivalent of increasing the interest rates again this year by another 50% because it's already raised at 1.5%.
Yeah.
And you can tell from the mortgage rates, from credit card interest rates, and it's just amazing how quickly it's been raising.
Yeah.
And then, but the good news of that is that there's also an increase in the savings interest rate. And I've definitely seen that because our Discover account, our Discover savings account, which was where the majority of our emergency fund was sitting, was at, I want to say it was like 0.4%. So back in 2020, it was up to 2%, which was very good. And we had our whole house down payment in there at the time, which helped quite a bit with the interest. But then it dropped all the way down to 0.4%. And then I've seen it go to 0.6%, 0.7%. Right now it's at 1.1%, which is pretty good. But there are a bunch of other accounts that are increasing even beyond that, like beyond 2%. I've seen some that are 3%. One that we've got part of our emergency fund in right now is at 4% on up to $6,000 of savings. And it's like, and that compounds daily.
Yeah.
So you see it on 6 grand, it's like 85 cents a day in interest, which is not bad. It's $240 a year. So
yeah,
if you have the savings, now's the time to save. Of course, after paying off debt, get rid of those credit cards because that's what's going to really hit you with these interest rates. All right. This was just making a comment about the 75 basis points for the interest rates. And this is one of yours.
Yeah, so this was an article that we had kind of talked about a week or so ago, that we both had noticed that there was a large amount of people who had pulled out of home buying contracts.
Yeah.
And so this article kind of details that, and it details, the basis of the article is what you need to know about backing out of a home that you're under contract for.
Yeah, because it's a legal contract.
Yes. So yeah, you got a lot of stuff binding there. But so if you slip to the next slide there, about 15% of all home contracts fell through last month, marking the highest share of cancellations since March of 2020, when it was 17%, 17.6%. So yeah, that was a staggering amount to me.
Yeah. I didn't even know that it was that high in March of 2020.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Because we actually were looking at houses at the time. We looked at the house that we have right now on April 1st of 2020. So right after March, and we put our offer in. There were a bunch of other offers that were made on this house as well. So I guess I was still experiencing a whole lot of the competition. So it kind of surprised me that March was that high, but 15% is still really high.
Yeah. So and what this article was notating a lot was that they believed that people were not waiving the inspections anymore. And so this is what could cause it. So that's like maybe the first domino to fall, is that people are like, okay, well, we're going to get an inspection on this. And then, well, it didn't come back like it should have. So maybe they took our advice from several videos ago. Don't buy a house without looking it over.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, plus, I mean, we talked in the last video about how someone that we knew had just posted their house, and it got a total of 4 viewings over several weeks, which was just shocking to me.
Yeah.
It was like right before that, the housing market just cooled off. People stopped looking as hard. And I'm sure that part of that's because of the interest rates. But that was just mind blowing to me. They have sold their house since.
Okay, I didn't know.
But it's just been so slow.
Yeah.
And so I think with the slower housing market, that gives people a bit more confidence to get that inspection first, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy said, Stephen Rinaldi says, buyers are putting contingencies back in purchase agreements and not giving it all away to sellers like they did a month ago. So don't give up your leverage.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been doing it in the first place.
Yeah. But especially now, you have a whole lot more leverage as a buyer than you used to.
Yeah. And then in the next slide, he kind of indicates that I guess underlying intention of that maybe is that, well, if we pull out of this, maybe we can get a better price, or better leverage to work on the price, or well, if it doesn't work out, there may be a cheaper property that's similar, that we won't have to compete for as hard as we would have 6 months ago.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want as a home buyer,
yes.
Or at least as a potential home buyer.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is another article I have talking about the chip shortage and a bill that might be voted on here pretty soon. And I guess they're just going to try to subsidize like some tax breaks and that kind of thing to get some chip manufacturing, here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll help with some prices.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things about that bill is, whether you agree with the subsidization, the subsidizing of different industries or not, just getting more manufacturing over in the United States is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because we have clearly depended far too much on other countries.
Yes.
To make products. And I understand that a lot of other countries can make products for a cheaper price. And that in and of itself can help people's own personal microeconomies.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something to be said for having products here in the United States that you can still purchase. You're not going to wait for, these chips for vehicles.
Yeah. I think that's most people can agree on that.
Yeah.
But like even in that article, they even indicated, like, I don't think I snipped this portion of it, but they literally said, this is a national security issue.
Yeah, I've heard
this
that
is not,
several times.
Yeah. So, like, I think they're going to take this very seriously, and it says they set a procedural vote for Tuesday.
Oh, really?
So
it's coming up real quick.
Like, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. That was, I guess, today.
Yeah. So, little snippet in my own personal life. I've moved some money in E-Trade to some technological companies based on this.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
very interesting.
That's what I've done.
Yeah.
So this just indicates where some of these breaks are going to be, what the actual dollar amounts are. So 25% investment tax credit for the manufacturer of semiconductors and tools to create them. $500 million for international secure communication program. $200 million for worker training, and $1.5 billion for public wireless supply chain innovation.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
It's especially interesting for people like us because we live in the Central Ohio area, and recently, who knows what's going to end up happening with it.
Yeah.
But Intel had come in and purchased up some land and agreed to make, I don't even remember what the investment was. I think it was maybe $20 billion.
It was a lot.
Yeah, into this area and creating a new plant, the largest plant, I believe, when it comes to semiconductors, which was good news, I think, for the Central Ohio economy.
Yeah.
But I think they've been since very hesitant with moving forward because they want to see where this bill goes. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, with big projects like that, you never really know until the building's up and there's people employed.
Yeah.
With that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but if it happens, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. And then our last article here is a very interesting one. It says, due to inflation, people will now have to add their 4 cents. Okay. I don't have a whole lot snipped here, but this screenshot that I have is particularly interesting. It starts out by saying, as a result of burgeoning inflation rates, anyone attempting to give an opinion now must add their 4 cents to a conversation in lieu of the traditional 2. Economists expect a dramatic decrease in the number of opinions shared as a result. I thought that was surprising. Like, opinions and the value of opinions, you don't really think about that a whole lot because people give them so willy-nilly. We're giving some opinions. Yeah, we're giving some opinions here on YouTube. And unfortunately, until now, I didn't realize that it was gonna increase the cost of this live stream by 100%.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, because so far the channel doesn't make any money. So I think we're just gonna have to eat the costs at the moment.
Subscribe so we can be monetized.
Please subscribe and like the video and comment about the articles if you have any comments on them. Yeah. And for anyone who's very confused, this is from the Babylon Bee, which is notorious for satirical articles.
Yes.
And that's the last that we have. So, Garrett, before we finish up, I need to ask you, last time we did this live stream, we talked about Top Gun and how you had only seen the first one. And now you've seen both because we went to see it after the live stream. So what do you think about the second Top Gun?
Well, how did I describe the first one? Did I say it was good? Is that?
I think you described it as good.
Yeah.
And people were up in arms in the comments about how you only called it good.
Yeah. So I'm very critical of movies.
Yeah.
And I don't like a typical everything goes well kind of movie and blah, blah, blah. But I wanted that. Like, I expected that out of this one. How far are we going with this? Are we going to spoiler alert? If you don't want to hear the ending, you should stop right now. But first, subscribe and like.
Yeah, please.
Anyways, now I'm going to blow it. So when I went into Top Gun Maverick, I wanted a good old movie, very similar to the first, right off into the sunset kind of thing, which is typically not me. I want to see like something bad happen usually at the end, and then we just like movie ends and everybody rethinks their life. But the ending to this one was terrible. So if I described the first movie as good, this one was meh.
Okay.
Everything else was great. I think they were spot on, except for the biggest thing is, why did they not end in the bar singing the song together?
Yeah. I did agree that the way that they ended it with everything just kind of like randomly falling together perfectly, and it felt like it was a little forced in terms of how they were trying to make it feel good at the end, because it was kind of an unrealistic, and I'm talking like the very last scene.
Yeah.
It's not even that big of a deal.
No, it's not. It's really
otherwise other than that, the rest of the movie,
I'm holding it to a standard of it
Yes.
of the first one.
Yeah.
And so this is why I'm really hitting it hard right now.
Yeah.
The random hanger at the end and the ride off into the sunset is like, it wasn't even on his crotch rocket, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it was in some random car. It just, like, so many unconnected dots.
Yeah.
But that was like maybe 3 minutes worth of movie.
Yeah, it was hardly
maybe
anything of a more than 2 hour movie.
The rest of it was killer.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that, like, just go look at the box office numbers.
Oh yeah, it's well over $1 billion.
I think it's basically
worldwide
revived the theaters.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, and I don't know what your opinion was, but the movie theaters to me were dead.
Yeah.
Post COVID. So yeah, I think it was great, other than the ending.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Maybe that was the intention.
Yeah. I honestly, I haven't cared that much about the ending. Like, I wasn't. It struck me as a little weird, but it didn't really impact my opinion of the movie overall, just because it's such a good story. And like, I understand a lot of people have opinions about how they think it should have ended, but total, I think that it was a great movie, and I've seen it twice. There's a decent chance I might go see it again.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those theater movies.
It's definitely a theater movie.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go
sure.
see it, go see it.
Yeah, you got to see it in the theater.
Now that you know the ending.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so like and subscribe and comment, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.